So Monte was talking about how you invested in things. So really what I'm hearing is you invested in yourself, your growth, training.
Right. And I also
Classes.
too, I set up business accounts. I put money into business accounts. I'm like, let's have marketing money. Let's have operation money. I don't want a phone call from Monty saying, where are your office dues? Okay. That's, stuff like that. You just don't want to, if you're going to do it right. The state has licenses you got to do. You got to pay for your education. Real Tracks has a monthly fee, which is fun. So you've got all of these things coming in the game. And I'm like, I set enough aside. I'm like, okay, this will get me through the rest of this year, which was June. So I'm like, this will cover all those expenses for 6 months. And then what I'll do is everything I make, I will reinvest 20% back into the business from every commission check.
Love that.
I hope everybody's paying attention to that. That's really a key to this, is sometimes folks get their commission and spend it all and expect the business to pay for itself on its own without reinvesting part of that. At least 10%, 20% is even better. But that's a great point.
Yeah, I mean 10% in operating accounts and 10% in the marketing accounts. Every check faithfully, and that strategy has, and then I do a certain amount for taxes. That strategy has kept me. I mean, it's allowed that initial, I think $4,000 investment I put in to really 10x. I mean, so that's helped me. So now when I'm ready to do bigger investing like Google marketing or Facebook ads or, buy, Realty One gear or, buy closing gifts for clients, things like that it's already preset.
You already have it.
There.
Yeah. We talk a lot about on this podcast about, in real estate or even in lending, any business that you do, you have to truly be the CEO of your own business, right? So what I love, and I'm getting super excited about it, because you really, embrace that from day one, as in you're like, I'm the business owner. This is my business. It's TJ with a side of real estate, right? I'm selling this. And so, and that's how I look at it. It's Carrie Ann with a side of mortgage, right? Like, you're running a business. No one's going to help you do it, right? I mean, you're now self-employed, right?
Yep.
And so I love that approach. So important. Really kind of being organized, and we talk about some of the people in sales wing it. Some of us are not as organized, but you have to force yourself to say, okay, clearly I need to market myself. Clearly nothing ever is for free, right? It's going to cost money. And then you hope and you put all your eggs in that one basket that one closing is going to happen. And then all of a sudden, by the time you paid all your bills, there's nothing left to elevate you or, push you off to the next level. So great job on the organizational piece there. So
thank you.
What do you think when you talked about things started really taking off in December and the pace is maintained, is there something that you would really hold your hat on, that the consistency that you've done? Is that a certain marketing that you find? I know you spoke about being a teacher.
Well, I know
education.
One thing he's been consistent on what
are you trying to say there?
LinkedIn.
Okay.
I lost it. LinkedIn. He's been educating
like
regularly on
three letters.
LinkedIn.
LinkedIn.
Sorry.
Okay.
So LinkedIn, social media in general, but also I've learned that you have to be visible. Somebody has to see you, they have to hear you, and then before you know, and so every time I closed a transaction, it was an opportunity to leverage that information.
Yeah, I love that.
To a new group or something like that. And it was experience every time I kept doing. And I'd done some deals before I went full time, but really kind of focusing. Now I saw there was some deals that had more complexity. There was some things that, so, nonetheless, that's what and also just offering value, like you talked about, giving folks information, and I'm coming from a generation right now that is struggling with kind of a lot of epidemics around student loan debt, around credit deficiency, around just career navigation and trying to progress with their income. You're having all of these dynamics that comes to the assessment where a lot of folks just feel like, oh, house buying thing is not that's going to be years down the road.
Later, yeah, right.
Until, I'm like, well, let's talk about it. Let's get, instead of all this hearsay, let's just get the actual facts.
Okay.
Here's the facts. Here's A, B, C, X, Y, Z. Here's some of the alternatives. Here's what you need to do before you can get to the bank. Bop, bop, bop. Tell me your info. What's your debt? Tell me how much you got saved. Okay, what's your credit? What's on the credit? Okay, I tell you what, you got a little bit of work to do. About 6 months, you should be good. Really, 6 months? I'm like, absolutely. If you do X, Y, Z,
if you
6
do,
months,
right.
I guarantee you, you'd be fine. Well, I was thinking years, and I said, no, it's not. You give yourself a little time. Some folks are, I'll come sit down, tell me this, tell me that, tell me this. Oh, you're good tomorrow. What are you waiting on? And it's just, they just need somebody to say, I didn't know that.
Right. And permission to move forward, usually, right?
Exactly.
So you're sitting, I hear you're sitting down with them. So how do you get them to see you, hear you, right? And then have the ability to come sit down with you?
Well, I think the first thing is that seeing the evidence that somebody they know, that grew up with them, that lived the same kind of situation as them, that had the same experiences as them, did it with me.
Okay.
And that, jogs some memory. Was like, well, wait a minute, you just did it. And then wait a minute, I got to, let me figure out what's going on. So you can, a lot of times, they might, see the word of mouth. They might, hear something that I'm teaching on, or, just a quick tidbit, helpful hint.
And where is that? Where's that tidbit?
So that might be on my Facebook page.
Okay.
That could be on Instagram posts. That could be on Zoom. I've done some Zoom calls where we've hosted like some webinars.
Okay, great.
And it might be an in-person event. So it just depends. But all in all, and sometimes it's just phone calls. Sometimes I have people say, hey, I saw your post in a Facebook group. And, I got a digital copy of my business card, and I'll post my business card a lot in different groups and just relevant to the conversation.
Sure.
And somebody might reach out and say, hey, I saw you did this, or your name came up in this. I was wondering if I could talk with you. And, the big thing, and I understand when people actually have the confidence to reach out to you and say, hey, I just want to see if you could have a conversation with me. I really don't take that lightly, because a lot of people are intimidated. You also have other folks that might be in the industry that are like, I don't have time for you. I don't have time for your situation. Call my assistant, call
right.
And I'm sure there'll be a situation soon where I'll say, hey, reach out to my assistant, but there's still
your partner.
There's a welcoming, your partner.
Yeah,
you go, right.
It's never downgrade them.
Never.
You bring them right over, and then they'll stay right there.
Exactly. So if you say, hey, let's connect, or you give them that reception when they reach out to you, that speaks a lot to people, and they feel that warmth from day one. So you can.
They say, facts tell, stories sell, right? And so what I'm hearing you say is you share possibly the story of the previous customer, right, of how you were able to help them from point A to point B, or their situation.
Right.
Who knew, right? Are you in the same situation, or do you know somebody else, in that same situation? Because you and I can just give facts, right, all the time, and you need this, and this is how it is, and it doesn't really relate. But then when you start to bring that to life, and you share how you were able to help somebody with student loans and here and there, and now with the new guideline changes with student loans, it's opening up the doors for so many more families, and getting them excited about the opportunities, I hear you say, is one that's really excited. So talk about consistency. Do you wing it on your LinkedIn, social media, the Zooms, et cetera, or is there a consistent marketing plan? You do this on Mondays, you do this on Tuesdays. Is there a plan?
Yeah. So, the one big thing is that, Realty One Group, got us this great partnership where Back At You Media, we can employ them as a digital marketing services to where they do a lot of content generation posts for us. And then I think you want to set aside, so many times a week where, either there's a story that's popping up, either there's, some kind of, home of the week, or, there's something, I want to make X amount of touches. But then even that, what's happening is that as I'm staying, and then also too, just doing relatable life. I think people get annoyed if you're just,
all one.
Hey, every time this guy's posts his business, people
see the babies regularly.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And I think that helps make you relatable, makes you approachable. So having that consistency mindset of saying, making sure I'm visible today. But then also there's another side of it that when people reach out to you, that we remember them, we document that conversation, we make those notes, and then we go back and make sure we're following up with those people. That's where you find yourself, because most people are not going to they're not going to chase something that's already intimidating them. And so a lot of times, you know, you can come back.
They're not going to chase something that's already intimidating.
Yeah.
That's important.
So what you do, even on the seller side, I've got some sellers that's like, I'm too old to be doing this. I don't know if I'm gonna find something else. You still got the mindset on both sides. And what will happen is that, you know, I'll follow up, encourage them. Hey, just checking in. Did you have any questions about what we talked about last? Or, you know, how do you feel about that now? Or what's kind of changed that situation? I know you told me something was going on with the family. And that way you're kind of walking with them to where each kind of little adjustment or situation that comes up or doubt that pops up, you're able to be prepared to help support them in that.
Love that.
And as that kind of continues to happen, they build momentum, they build encouragement, and before you know it, you help them cross the finish line. So it's after we kind of do that presence there. I mean, I've got presence now, but, you know,
you got presence, big guy.
Yeah.
You got presence.
You're like, I'm going to make sure they see me. I'm like, they're going to see you.
Right.
You've got a presence. There you go.
Exactly. And so even now, I just did the OMG National partnership with the Google Billboard thing, Google Screened. And so, you know, after you're being seen, now you have to be really good at your follow-up and your nurturing.
Yeah.
So
and you got to be good at your craft automatically too, right?
So not long ago, I shared on our Monday morning huddle call some wisdom from TJ, which, again, I was very impressed with because some of the agents have shared with me that they've used some of TJ's wisdom.
Oh, nice.
Okay,
cool.
For one thing, you know, and you can talk about it. You know, the thing like, don't show those hot properties to that first-time buyer.
Yep.
You know,
yep.
Don't let them decide what you're going to go out and look at.
Yep.
You know, this is pure wisdom, brother, for a guy who's only been in business a short time.
So here's the thing, too, and one thing I realize is, to me, I have really taken on kind of the mission and the ministry of being a realtor. And when I say that, it's because I understand that I will work with people that will never be able to get in a home unless we had an interaction. They, you know, and
gives me goosebumps.
There will be some, and that's the reality, because the reality is that a realtor will stand in the way, literally, from a buyer's or a seller's mindset. And if you have the wrong positioning or you're saying the wrong things, you may completely shut down a buyer's belief system that they've got the opportunity to own a home. Because, you're not going to find anything. Well, you got to overpay. Well, you got to do this, that, and the other. And just depend. But if you tell them, okay, listen, your situation, I've heard your situation before. I've gotten it done. Here's what we got to do. And that subtlety of difference of saying, wow, okay, he just helped shift my mindset, will still help them feel confident. And so I have been able to, I'm a student of, you know, the game, and, you know, this market is really, really wild, really wild. Nashville, I think, traditionally over the last 20 years has had a home appreciation rate of about like 7-8%. And the last year, in 2020, I think it was GNR reported it was about 10%. Currently, it's like 21 to 25%. It is incredibly ridiculous. Okay, and we understand that that's a scarcity. COVID shifted a lot of things. Interest rates are low, so it's driving out a lot of buyers. And then you've got a lot of people from the West Coast trying to shelter their taxes a little better. Tennessee's a sexy place to do that. So you've kind of got a lot more activity than normal. But what's happening is, well, what does that do to first-time home buyer who maybe has $8, $9, $12, $15,000 saved at the most? Okay, that also might only can go FHA because the approval guidelines changed as well. Conventional, even if you get approved for conventional, if you're not approved with the right credit score, that PMI will take you out. So it may make more sense. Lender may say, hey, it's going to make more sense for you to FHA, right?
For sure.
So